It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as NXT are forced to move to Tuesday nights, meaning the end of the Wednesday Night Wars. We'll get to that later on in the video, but first, on March 18th, former WWE superstar Andrade publicly requested his release from the company following reported unhappiness with his booking on the main roster. Andrade made his WWE debut as part of the NXT roster in 2015 before winning the NXT Championship less than 2 years later. Since his call-up to SmackDown in April 2018, he never received the main event push many fans felt he deserved, and was barely used on television in recent times, which ultimately led to his unhappiness. In a recent media call, Andrade revealed that before he requested his release, he was offered the chance to return to the Gold brand, a move which he turned down. He told the media, "I never proposed going back to NXT, they proposed it to me, but when they noticed that I'm quitting, they asked me if I wanted to spend a year in NXT, then go back to the main roster, and I told them that I wanted to make it on the main roster. I don't think being in NXT is a lesser thing, but I would rather be out of the company than be in NXT because at least out there I can make more noise. I don't have anything against NXT or the wrestlers there, but I didn't want to take a step back." Andrade also revealed that Vince McMahon and Triple H were not aware that he was medically cleared to wrestle, with them apparently under the impression that he was still injured. He went on to say, "2 days before my release, I still talked with Triple H. I told him the truth and that I wanted an opportunity. He told me that they were honestly not aware that I was ready. I don't know who in the office wouldn't tell Vince and Triple H that I was ready since November. They didn't know that I was medically cleared. Triple H told me that he didn't know." Andrade recently confirmed on Twitter that he will not be required to wait out the typical 90-day no-compete clause and seems to be free to wrestle elsewhere as soon as he likes. It's likely that his release states that he cannot appear in All Elite Wrestling for the time period of his previous WWE contract, although this hasn't been confirmed. A return to Mexico and Japan is more likely, where Andrade previously worked under the name La Sombra for New Japan Pro-Wrestling and CMLL. It's going to be exciting to see what Andrade's future holds, with him having all the talent in the world. AEW have recently announced that they will be holding their first ever house show live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. The event will take place on Friday, April 9th, which is WrestleMania weekend, the day before night 1 of WrestleMania. AEW seem to be looking to draw some of the WWE crowd up to Jacksonville, with WrestleMania also set to be held in Florida, albeit 3.5 hours away in Tampa. A number of matches have been announced for the house show, which will be named The House Always Wins, with Darby Allin set to defend his TNT title against the winner of a Battle Royal earlier in the night. Kenny Omega and his friend Michael Nakazawa will team up against Matt and Mike Sydal. Death Triangle will take on the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler, and finally Cody Rhodes will take on the newly debuted Ethan Page. There is also more matches that has been announced, but I don't want to run through the whole card, but that can be found on the AEW website if you're interested. It was recently revealed that New Japan Pro-Wrestling's top prize, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, will be unified with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship in order to create a brand new title, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. This belt will have a completely new lineage away from the previous titles. And before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you drop a like down below as it helps me out a lot. And why not subscribe as we head towards 10,000 subscribers. But let's get back to the video. The champion Kota Ibushi will make his first defense this weekend at Sakura Genesis, taking on Will Ospreay in the main event of the show. Yesterday, the promotion revealed the brand new belt design at the Road to Sakura Genesis show. For me, the new belt is going to take some time getting used to, as in my opinion, the previous heavyweight title design was one of the best designs in wrestling today. But let me know what you think of the new belt in the comments down below. WWE and NBC Universal have confirmed that a new multi-year deal has been signed to keep NXT on the network for the foreseeable future, with WWE's Gold brand now moving to Tuesday nights. This signifies the end of the Wednesday Night Wars, which began in October of 2019, with NXT going head-to-head with AEW Dynamite in the same time slot week in, week out. This move has been expected for several weeks now, ever since the closure of the NBC Sports Network, which led to talks of the NHL moving to the USA Network, taking up NXT's spot in the schedule. NXT will hold their first Tuesday show on April 13th, which is the week immediately following WrestleMania 37. This means there will only be 2 head-to-head shows left between AEW and NXT tonight and next week. Francis Berwick, the chairman of entertainment networks for NBC Universal, spoke of the move and said, "We are incredibly proud of our 3-decade partnership with WWE and in extending USA's NXT deal. We are further establishing our portfolio as an unrivaled home for quality WWE content. By transitioning NXT to a Tuesday time slot where WWE has performed well in the past, we are giving our passionate fan base more of what they love with back-to-back nights of exhilarating live programming." From 2016 till 2019, WWE hosted SmackDown Live on Tuesday nights, so it's a time slot that WWE fans will be familiar with, which could help NXT grow its audience. This move will also likely lead to an increase in viewership for AEW Dynamite, although it should be expected for WWE to host another show on Wednesdays as to continue to counterbook their competition. In response to NXT's move to Tuesdays, Impact Wrestling have reacted by moving their weekly show back to its traditional Thursday night time slot from a rival wrestling show. This now means that every weekday has a wrestling show, with Raw and AEW Dark Elevation on Monday nights, NXT and AEW Dark on Tuesdays, AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, Impact Wrestling on Thursdays, and finally SmackDown on Fridays. So there's plenty of wrestling to go around. As of this recording, in the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW Dynamite has won the overall viewership 62 times to NXT's 9, with 2 ties in there as well. And in the key demographic of the 18 to 49-year-olds, which is the rating that advertisers pay attention to, Dynamite has won 72 times to NXT's 1. You can almost guarantee that Vince McMahon and co are unhappy with the move, as it could appear as a public defeat when you look at the overall results of the supposed war, although it should be stressed that this wasn't WWE conceding defeat, but rather the USA Network's decision to prioritize the NHL over NXT. With that said though, the history books will say that WWE lost the Wednesday Night Wars, whether it was their decision or not.